I'm spending today's episode talking about the 2025 changes to the Chase business cards that earn ultimate rewards. We have a brand new card that's somewhat of a mixed bag, some new benefits that can add back some time into your life, and some new rules that are going to require a strategy pivot for some people. Welcome back to Points for Normal People. I'm Katie, and I believe travel isn't just for the rich. I'm here to share easy-to-follow tips to help you supercharge your travel points so you can pay for entire vacations every year. This is my second update episode for Season 1 of the podcast, and it's being recorded in October 2025 with updates that have occurred since I published Season 1 in the summer of 2024, so over the past year. Last week, I went over the updates to the personal Sapphire cards. Today, we have updates on the business cards. Let's start with some good news. A lot of people listening have probably opened or plan to open one of the Ink cards that have no annual fee, the Chase Ink Business Cash credit card or Chase Ink Business Unlimited credit card. These are both included in my 3-year plan, and they are popular cards. They are popular especially because they have no annual fee, so you don't have to do any complicated calculations about whether the benefits outweigh the fee. They have a standard bonus that's fairly generous, and the past few years we've seen at least one of them have an elevated offer for at least a few months or so each year. And even though the welcome offers are listed as cash back, as long as you have another card like a Chase Sapphire Preferred card that earns ultimate rewards, you can move the cash back over and combine it with your ultimate rewards, and then from there transfer over to a partner like Hyatt. Well, despite being no annual fee cards, these recently added a pretty generous benefit, and that is that they will now give you $20 per month for Instacart. They also give you 3 months free of Instacart Plus. This benefit runs through December 31st, 2027. If you haven't used Instacart, this might seem like a silly perk, but I'm going to explain briefly how I use Instacart, and it might be that you find a use for this perk too. You might not, and that's fine too. Points and credit card benefits should enrich your life, and if this benefit stresses you out or it seems silly, it's okay to pass on it. Instacart is a delivery service where they have shoppers who basically go to stores in your neighborhood and then buy things that you've selected and deliver it to your doorstep. I think it started off for mostly groceries, and there are still a lot of grocery stores on there, but there's also Walgreens and PetSmart and Home Depot and even Dollar Tree, and plenty of other stores. Some stores promise in-store pricing, so it's the same price as if you walked in yourself, and some stores have inflated pricing. When there are markups, they average about a 15% markup over in-store pricing. A few stores in my area have pickup options, but for most stores, you need to get the items delivered. And when they are delivered, you are expected to pay a tip to the shopper with the app. So why do I love this benefit when my items might cost me 15% more and I have to pay a tip? It's because when you use it selectively, it can save you time and usually at least a little bit of money. For me, I'm really happy with the way it helps me save time. So I told you that the Ink Cash and the Ink Unlimited cards both have this benefit. Those actually aren't the only cards that added in an Instacart benefit. In fact, almost all of the co-branded Chase cards now have a $10 per month Instacart credit as well. If you forgot what co-branded cards are, those are the credit cards that are issued by Chase or another bank that earn loyalty points with a specific hotel or airline program, like IHG, Southwest, Hyatt, or Marriott. I'm going to walk through how to set up your Instacart benefit, but if you'd rather read it with screenshots, you can go to my Instacart article, which is linked in the show notes, or you can just go to my blog at katiestraveltricks.com and search Instacart, and this article will come up. There are a few quirks to how this works. If you don't already have an Instacart account, you'll need to sign up for that first. And you'll have the least issues if you just sign up for the personal account. It often tries to offer you a business account too, but that seems to complicate how these benefits work too much and their software and how that works. And with this deal, it just causes a lot more glitches. Then each card family, like the Inks and then the co-branded cards, and even specifically the United cards, have a different landing page where you start at that page and click from there back to Instacart to add your respective Chase card. In my article, I have the links listed to try to make this easy for you. Theoretically, if you just start entering your cards as payment methods into Instacart, it might trigger a pop-up of some kind to enroll in this benefit, but the IT experience is not reliable with their website. And theoretically, based on terms, you should be able to add all of your cards to the same account, but in practice, there seem to be some limitations to how many cards you can add to your account. It seems to air out and let you add one of each type max, usually. But depending on the cards in your wallet, it might be quite a few. For me, it let me add Micah's World of Hyatt business card, but then it wouldn't let me add my Hyatt personal card. It let me add 2 ink cards, but not a third. Things like that. So your first step is to load all of your cards up. Ideally, you'd put all the cards between anyone in your household onto the same Instacart account. And that's because one of the terms of this benefit is that you only get your $10 or $20 monthly credit if you also have Instacart Plus. And each of these cards gives you 3 months of Instacart Plus. And thankfully, the 3-month benefits actually can stack up. So the more cards you can add to the same account, the longer your free Instacart benefit will last. One more caution is that if you have a business Instacart account, it can kind of give you the runaround when you're trying to add the ink cards. Because at least for me, it really tried to get me to add them to my business profile. But because I have Instacart Plus through my personal Instacart account, it just kept giving me an error. In my article, I have a few troubleshooting tips. Ultimately, for me, I found that another very specific link worked. For some people, using the app worked better versus a desktop too. So that's how you generally are going to set this up. Now let's talk about some practical ways to use this benefit. Now, I personally use this primarily for buying a few items at a time, because that's how your $10 or $20 credits will go the furthest. I particularly like to use it when there's something I want from a store that I don't frequent, which for me is most stores beyond Costco and Aldi. Even then, to be honest, usually Micah goes. These little credits are also great for when you don't feel like leaving the house or you just have limited time that day. And then another great time to use it is on a trip, because you can have Instacart deliver groceries even to a hotel, like sandwich supplies or snacks. Or sometimes I have Instacart deliver my regular Aldi grocery essentials to my house right when I'm coming home. Like I might order as our plane is taxiing to the gate. You could also use this to send items to a college student or a family member who's sick. When I was scripting this episode, I went through actual orders I've made to give you some examples. So for instance, when we were in Denver recently, I ordered chapstick and LaCroix from Walgreens. Walgreens has in-store pricing. My total was $12 plus tax. And then there was a $6.50 charge for service fee and tip. But then I got $10 off. In this case, I was using a co-branded credit instead of an ink credit. So my total was $8.50. So I didn't save much money. I saved about $3, but I didn't have to go get it, so I saved time. The night before that trip, I made a different order for some plain snacks from a local grocery store. This time, I ordered 5 items that came out to $22 for the items and tax. I tipped the shopper $10, so that would have been $32. But I got $20 off and then another $2 off because I had scheduled it in advance. So it came out to $10 total, which actually was a savings of $12 with what I actually bought, and I didn't have to run to the grocery store while I was packing for a trip. So it's stuff like this that I'm using it for. Once I ordered Epsom salt from Walgreens. Walgreens is 2 blocks from my house, but I was racing around doing something with my kids and I didn't have time to run out. Even with adding a tip, it still was slightly less than if I had gone to Walgreens myself because I got that $10 from a co-branded card off of my order. Again, with the ink cards, you're getting $20 credits monthly, and with most co-branded cards, it's $10 per month. I do try to schedule my deliveries in advance so that I can get that extra $2 off. And then I also like to scan through the stores because sometimes stores will have their own extra promos, and these do stack with the Chase $10 or $20 off. I love this benefit, but again, I'm always thinking about how I can avoid going to a store. You might like going to stores. You still might find some good uses for this though. Next, I want to go over some updates regarding opening Chase business cards. Starting in late fall 2024, we started seeing a lot more denials for Chase business cards, most notably the Southwest and the ink cards. These are also the most popular cards in our community, so that's why we saw these the most. So this was happening for people who even were under 524. With some of my other creator friends, we asked for data points on a Google form to try to see if we could figure out exactly what we were seeing. And hundreds of people responded, and it made it easier for us to start to see some patterns. What we discovered is that the biggest factor in getting approved for a Chase business card seemed to be how many Chase business cards you already have. And you do have to be under 524 still. Now, this makes sense, right? If you already have a lot of business cards with Chase, why would they want to keep issuing you more cards? Generally, we found that people that have 0 to 2 Chase business cards and apply for a third, whether that's an Inc. or a Southwest card or something else, they have a much higher rate of approval. People who have 3 Chase business cards and apply for a fourth have a much lower rate of approval. There is an exception here. If you have an LLC, this seems to help for easier approval, even if you have more Chase business cards. The data didn't show it was significant if you had a personal or business checking account with Chase. Though I still think it's a good policy to have one of these, as I do think it helps build a stronger relationship with the bank. What this means is that it may be harder to be approved for some businesses. And it is a little limiting if you want to keep a hotel business card from IHG or Hyatt and an airline business card from United or Southwest, and you want an Inc. card as well. So you do need to be carefully considering which cards you're opening. Now, this could change, and I do think that one possible reason this change rolled out was due to economic uncertainty. So during the pandemic, Chase was really limited in business card approvals, and it was almost impossible to get an Inc. card if you were a sole proprietor. But eventually that loosened up. So we never really know long-term what will happen. There is unfortunately one more strategy change to be aware of, and this one is just bad news. This is that starting in October 2025, Chase sites declared that you will only be able to earn referral points for referring a business to an Inc. card if that business is a new customer. Some sites were initially wrongly reporting that this was for all Chase business cards, but I think the confusion stems from the fact that this is on the Inc. landing page, which calls all the Chase Inc. business cards Chase for Business. That term is new because it also includes the new Sapphire Reserve for Business, which I will discuss next. This is a tough change for people who are referring friends and family to Inc. cards and getting points even if those people had previously held Inc. cards. Now, because this is just rolling out, we don't know all of the terms exactly. If you refer someone and they've had an Inc. business card before with Chase, but it's been a few years and now they have a new business and are getting a new Inc. for that new business, will you get referral points? We don't know. If someone has had a Southwest business card and you refer them to an Inc., will you get the bonus? We don't know. Will people start testing these and other variations in October and onward to find out the limitations? I assume so. You'll still be able to get referrals for referring new businesses to Chase Inc. cards. Beyond that, we don't know. I will definitely be keeping my ear out and be updating as we know more. The bigger news is that Chase released a whole new business product, the Chase Sapphire for Business. This is kind of a crossover between an Inc. and a Sapphire Reserve card. It earns ultimate rewards, it's a business card, and it has a high $795 annual fee. If you have any Inc. card, you can refer someone to the Sapphire Reserve for Business card now too. Well, sort of, right? As you will only get those referral points if that business hasn't had an Inc. card before. Generally, new cards are good news because it means a new opportunity to earn points. Usually, almost everyone will be eligible for a new card because no one's ever had it before, with the exception of rules like 524. $795 fee makes this card a bit of a mixed bag. The offer that it was released with also has a really high spend requirement of $30,000. Now that's over 6 months, but that still averages out to $5,000 each month. That's going to put it out of reach for a lot of people. Since it's new yet, we don't know if this is a standard offer or how that offer might change over time. There will be some people that this makes sense for, despite the annual fee, despite the huge spend requirement. So I'm still going to go over the basics here. Just like with the personal Sapphire Reserve card, we've added a benefits calculator for this card to our guide for this card so you can value all of these benefits yourself and find out really easily if it would be worth it for you or not. Because $795 leaves a lot of ground to make up. Here's what you can get that might offer some value though. The first ones I'll mention are all the same as the personal version. First off, there is a $300 travel credit, same as the personal version. This is super easy to use. If you make any travel purchase, parking, bus tickets, plane fees, etc., it will just come off as a statement credit until you get to $300. So easy to use. You get a $120 credit every 4 years for a trusted traveler program like TSA PreCheck or Global Entry. You get lounge access for yourself and 2 guests at Sapphire lounges and Priority Pass lounges. You can't really get any more access for any more people, though, because there's no way for an employee card to get lounge benefits. You can get a total of $25 in DoorDash credits every month, but this is across 3 separate credits. Like the personal Sapphire Reserve, you get $250 twice a year for a total of $500 for Edit Collection hotel stays of 2 nights or more. I went into this in the last episode and ways you might use this credit. Like the personal Sapphire Reserve, you also get a $250 hotel credit for certain brands in 2026. Again, I went over this in the last episode on the personal version. I did forget to mention in that episode that we made a map of all of the smaller brands that have this benefit so that you can browse them easily, and that's embedded on both of our guides for the personal and the business version of these cards so that you can see where that credit might be useful. Those are all the benefits that are the same. Then here are 4 perks you get that are different from the personal version. So first, you get cell phone protection if you pay your bill with your card. It's one of the better benefits for cell protection. It's up to $1,000 per claim. There is a $100 deductible, but you can use it 3 times per year. And this is good for, in the exact words of the benefit guide, damage to, theft of, or involuntary and accidental parting of your cell phone. You must charge your entire monthly bill to the card. If you do, it covers all cell phones listed on that monthly bill. If you pay for cell insurance, this benefit might save you some money if you can discontinue that coverage. Frankly, I'm a little bit surprised that the personal version still doesn't have this benefit, but it just doesn't. Just a quick note that some companies like T-Mobile and Verizon make it harder to pay with a credit card, but it is still possible at least for both of those. So for T-Mobile, you can do it by setting up auto pay with a checking account and then manually paying your bill with a credit card every month. Right before it's due is when you would do that. This is what I personally do. For Verizon, it's a little bit more cumbersome, but we've had multiple people tell us that you can set it up with auto pay on a checking account. And then if you go to a Verizon store in person, you can pay at a kiosk with a credit card manually. Might not be worth it for you, but I just want to give you your options. This card also comes with a $400 ZipRecruiter credit. You get a $200 statement credit for purchases at ZipRecruiter twice a year. One $200 credit will be good from January 1st to June 30th each year. Then between July 1st and December 31st, you get up to another $200. This is useful if you already pay for these, but highly depends on your business, of course. More businesses will probably be able to use the $200 Google Workspace credit, which is just a statement credit of up to $200 a year for Google Workspace purchases. You also get $100 a year to select stores at giftcards.com. This is broken into $50 credits for each half of the year. The selection is somewhat limited, but I think many people can find one of the stores or restaurants on there that they frequent. Is the $795 fee a lot? Of course. But some people will be able to make that up with these benefits. Other people won't be able to, and if this doesn't work for you, you should absolutely skip this card. For action steps today, the first thing you can do is look through your wallet or your binder or wherever you keep your credit cards and pick a 30-minute period this week to get your Instacart benefits set up. My article with the screenshots is linked in the show notes. If you have tech glitches while you're setting this up, I'd love for you to add your comments to that post and see if we can figure out any solutions. If you're intrigued by the new Sapphire Reserve for Business, I'd suggest reading through our article and trying out the benefits calculator to see if this card might make sense for you now or possibly in the future. I'm also going to give another reminder to sign up for our weekly newsletter, which comes out every Saturday morning. It's the best way to make sure that you don't miss out on any elevated offer announcements or new resources that we're adding to our site. And just as an FYI, the next episode will be updates to Season 2, so it's going to appear under Season 2. Thanks so much for being with me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time, where we will continue to unlock these secrets of travel points together.